Imagine this for a second. You wake up one morning. No electricity bill waiting in your mailbox. No more trips to the gas station that drain your wallet. Your entire house runs on a small black box that costs less than a used motorcycle. And it never needs plugging in. Ever. Sounds like pure fantasy, right? But what if I told you that a guy from Zimbabwe claims he has already built exactly that? And he says you can buy one for around $2,500. Today, we are diving deep into whether going completely off-grid for $2,500 is actually possible. By testing the claims around Maxwell Chikumbutso's radio frequency energy devices. Buckle up. This one gets wild. First, who is Maxwell Chikumbutso? He is a self-taught inventor from Harare, Zimbabwe. Dropped out of school young. Started tinkering in his garage. By the early 2010s, he founded a company called SAITH Technologies, or SAITH. His big claim? He invented something called the Microsonic Energy Device, or MSED for short. Sometimes called the green power machine. The idea is simple on paper. The air around us is absolutely flooded with radio waves. Wi-Fi signals. Cell tower broadcasts. Radio stations. TV transmissions. All of that is electromagnetic energy floating everywhere. Normal RF harvesting tech can grab tiny amounts. Enough to power a small sensor. Maybe a watch. But Maxwell says his device is different. He claims it captures ambient radio frequencies. Converts them directly into usable AC electricity. No solar panels. No wind turbines. No fuel. No batteries that need regular charging. Just endless clean power from thin air. He started small. First prototypes were tabletop generators putting out a few hundred watts. Enough to run lights and a fridge. Then he scaled up. He embedded the tech into televisions. Claimed a 55-inch Samsung TV that runs with no plug. Just the MSED inside powering the screen and even extra outlets. He put it in electric cars. Saying the vehicle drives forever without plugging in. Even showed a motorbike and allegedly a helicopter. The craziest part? He says the core device for home use can power an entire off-grid house. Lights. Appliances. Water pump. Everything. And the price point that went viral? Around $2,500 for a unit that outputs several kilowatts. For context. A comparable solar setup with panels, batteries, inverter. Easily $10,000 to $20,000. And it still needs sunlight. So if this works, it changes everything. Millions of people in rural Africa. Remote cabins. Disaster zones. Could have reliable power overnight. No more breathing kerosene fumes. No more kids studying by candlelight. So I started digging. I wanted to know if this is the real deal. Or just another free energy dream. The first half of this journey is looking at the positive side. What Maxwell and his supporters say. And the demonstrations that have people excited. Maxwell has been at this for over a decade. Back in 2015 to 2018, he was already showing generators to local media in Zimbabwe. He powered houses in his neighborhood. Ran welding machines for hours. Things that would drain normal batteries dead. One famous story. Foster Gamble, the guy who made the Thrive documentary. The one about hidden energy tech. He heard about Maxwell. Flew to Zimbabwe with an engineer named Nils Ragnarud. They spent weeks testing a big blue generator. 500 kilowatts supposedly. They hooked it up. Ran heavy loads. Measured voltages. And according to them, it worked. The batteries didn't drain. Power just kept coming. Foster said it was one of the most exciting things he had ever seen. Maxwell calls the energy microsonic. Or sometimes longitudinal waves. like Tesla talked about. He says it's not breaking physics, just using a part of the electromagnetic spectrum we ignore. He even showed it to the Zimbabwean president recently. Drove cars around State House. I wanted to know if this is the real deal, or just another free energy dream. The first half of this journey is looking at the positive side. What Maxwell and his supporters say, and the demonstrations that have people excited. Maxwell has been at this for over a decade. Back in 2015 to 2018, he was already showing generators to local media in Zimbabwe. He powered houses in his neighborhood, ran welding machines for hours. Things that would drain normal batteries dead. One famous story. Foster Gamble, the guy who made the Thrive documentary. The one about hidden energy tech. He heard about Maxwell. Flew to Zimbabwe with an engineer named Nils Ragnarud. They spent weeks testing a big blue generator. 500 kilowatts supposedly. They hooked it up. Ran heavy loads. Measured voltages. And according to them, it worked. The batteries didn't drain. Power just kept coming. Foster said it was one of the most exciting things he had ever seen. Maxwell calls the energy microsonic, or sometimes longitudinal waves, like Tesla talked about. He says it's not breaking physics, just using a part of the electromagnetic spectrum we ignore. He even showed it to the Zimbabwean president recently. Drove cars around State House. No charging cables in sight. Announced launch dates. Price lists started circulating. Home units from a few $1,000s. Retrofit kits for cars around $10,000. But entry-level off-grid boxes supposedly in that $2,000 to $3,000 range. Videos popped up everywhere. People in Africa sharing clips, saying this is finally happening. An African inventor beating the West at their own game. No more dependence on expensive imported fuel. No more blackouts. Just flip a switch. Power forever. He talks about miniaturizing it. Putting the MSED in phones. Laptops. So your phone never dies. He even had a TV with no power cord. Just turns on. Runs Netflix all day. If even half of this is true, we are talking Nobel Prize level stuff. World changing. Billions of dollars in energy markets flipped upside down. So I thought, let's try to get one. Let's test it ourselves. Put meters on it. Run it sealed in a Faraday cage so no external signals sneak in. Loaded with heaters, fridges, tools. See if it really outputs steady power forever. That was the plan. But here is where the story takes a turn. Because as I dug deeper, the second half of this rabbit hole gets murky. Really murky. You see. For years, Maxwell has promised deliveries. Investors paid deposits. Some big money. Tens of thousands per unit. But almost nobody ever got their device. Forums started filling with angry posts. People saying they wired money. Waited years. Nothing shipped. One group of European investors flew to Zimbabwe. Wanted to see independent tests. According to reports, the demos failed. Batteries hidden. Or the units stopped working when scrutinized. Suddenly Maxwell left the country. Or went quiet. Patent offices rejected his applications. Called it perpetual motion, which violates thermodynamics. Because if you are pulling usable power from ambient RF, where is the energy actually coming from? Real RF harvesting exists. Your phone's wireless charging uses it. But the power density is tiny. Microwatts per square meter. To power a house, you would need antennas the size of football fields. Or insanely dangerous concentrated beams, which nobody is broadcasting. So physicists say it is impossible. At least with known tech. Yet Maxwell insists it works. Some say he is hiding the real secret, protecting it from big oil suppression. Others say he started believing his own hype. Or worse, that it is an elaborate long con. There are court cases, armed robbery charges from years back, though he claims framed, investors demanding refunds, videos exposing the cars as modified Chinese EVs, with normal batteries inside. The hypersonic device looking exactly like a cheap portable power station you buy online. The launch event that was supposed to happen got postponed, or turned into a scarf giveaways instead of cars. Government posts hyping it, then quietly deleted. One day he is meeting presidents. Next day radio silence. Some channels defend him fiercely, saying the West is scared, that Tesla was suppressed too, that this is divine technology. God gave him the idea in a dream. Others call it the longest-running free energy scam in Africa. Preying on hope. Taking pre-orders that never fulfill. So where does that leave us? Is the $2,500 off-grid dream real? Or a heartbreaking mirage? Honestly. After months of research, talking to people who met him, reading investor horror stories, watching every demo with a critical eye, I still don't have a final answer. There are moments where it looks incredibly convincing. Lights staying on, heavy tools running, no obvious wires or tricks. And the man seems sincere, humble even. But then the pattern repeats. Promises, excitement, disappointment. No independent lab has ever published a peer-reviewed paper saying yes, this outputs net power indefinitely. No university has replicated it. No major company has licensed it. After all these years, that silence is deafening. If it was real, someone would have bought the tech, mass-produced it, changed the world already. Instead, we have rumors, whispers. Maybe the next launch will be the one. Maybe they are hiding it from the powers that be. Maybe he really did crack zero-point energy. Or maybe it is hidden batteries and clever switching. Or maybe an honest mistake that snowballed. Or maybe something in between. I wanted to believe. I really did. Because if a guy with no formal degree, from a small neighborhood in Harare, solved energy forever for $2,500, that would be the most beautiful story ever told. But extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence. And right now, the evidence is mostly lives in carefully staged videos. And hopeful hearts. Not in transparent, repeatable science. So here is my verdict today. In November 2025. Going completely off-grid for $2,500 using Maxwell Chikumbutso's RF devices? It is still a rumor. A powerful, emotional, hopeful rumor. One that might be true someday. Or might never be. If you have the money burning a hole in your pocket, and you believe, maybe send a deposit. But if you need power today, for your family, right now, I would stick with proven solar, batteries, wind, because those work every single day, without the mystery, without the waiting, without the heartbreak. But I will keep watching. Because if one day a container ship full of $2,500 endless power boxes actually lands, and third-party testers tear one apart and it still works, I will be the first in line, screaming from the rooftops that the future just arrived. Until then, stay skeptical, stay hopeful, and keep your wallet closed, but your mind wide open. Because stranger things have happened. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow the rumor becomes reality. Or maybe it stays a whisper in the wind. Either way, the dream of free energy, it never dies. It just waits for the next inventor, the next demo, the next hope. Thanks for watching this deep dive. If you want me to keep hunting stories like this, hit like, subscribe, drop a comment. Have you heard anything new about Maxwell? Seen a working unit? Let me know. Until next time, keep questioning everything. And maybe, just maybe, one day we will flip that switch, and the lights will never go out again.